We turn now to House Bill 809. Delegate Price.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. So House Bill 809 was with the intention of helping getting funding to preserve preserve the history, the land, and the plots for more than 700 African American plots in cemeteries in Isle of Wight County and Surry County. Since putting in this bill, I have found that we no longer fund them through legislation, but work through the Department of Historical Resources. So I am fine with the bill being laid on the table, but I would ask that we not take any more final action on the bill until I just make sure and meet with the department to see what the process is for the nonprofit. There are some really energetic and passionate folks back home that want to make sure that they see this project through, and so want to learn more about the process from the regulatory side, executive branch side, before it's too late. So I do appreciate the time, and I also appreciate you, Mr. Chair, and walking me through this process and helping me learn along the way.
Absolutely. That's part of what this process is about, and thank you for that. What I will do, and I'm going to catch somebody off guard in this request, at my request, there is a representative from the Division of Historic Resources, and I'm going to ask if she would be willing, and this is without any preparation or pre-prepping, if she would just briefly indicate what the process currently is, so for all of us to have a better sense of that. And I appreciate you being on this, coming at short notice, and then being willing, as I hope you will be, to clarify that process.
Certainly, Chairman Ware, members. The Department of Historic Resources does administer the African American.
And if you could identify yourself.
Oh, Julie Langen, I'm sorry,
That's
Director of DHR. The department does administer the African American Graves and Cemeteries Fund, and we do have an application process that is outlined on our website. There is an application that's completed and submitted to us, and that replaced the process that previously required legislation for individual cemeteries to be added to the list of those that are eligible to receive funding. Right now, a cemetery needs to have been in existence prior to 1900. 1900 is the cutoff, but there are a couple of bills this session that would extend that to 1948. So right now, we do turn some cemeteries away if it is a cemetery that postdates 1900. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. This process has been going very, very well, and we look forward to working with Delegate Price to understand the needs of the cemeteries in her district.
Very good. Are there questions from the committee? Delegate Marshall.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
How many locations, roughly, do we have over the state that of grave sites now?
That are qualified or may qualify?
Well, tell us both.
So that are qualified, I have to turn to my deputy, Stephanie Williams.
Right now, we fund 27 cemeteries.
27. The harder question to answer is how many might be out there that are eligible. And the reason that I can't answer that is that we don't have a complete inventory. Many are unmarked and are very difficult to identify. What we do when we receive an inquiry or an application is we engage our archaeologists to help us determine the bounds of a cemetery, because it's not even always easy to understand the limits of it. So research is necessary to determine an estimate of how many graves might be in an unmarked cemetery.
Delegate Marshall.
So is there a definition of a cemetery? Is it 2 plots? Is it 5 plots? Or, because I know that, a lot of rural areas, people were buried on the farm.
There's a huge range, yes. And many of the cemeteries that are receiving funding are cemeteries that you can look and see that they are cemeteries and there are headstones. Those that are much more challenging and really do require the expertise of an archaeologist are those that are unmarked. And many are overgrown, and that makes it a little more challenging to determine the limits of them.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Coming up on a moment's notice and also for being available for Doug Price.
And Mr. Chair, I will say that a lot of these plots do fit into the current eligibility because my great-great-great-grandfather, Thomas Poole, and his wife are in one of these plots. He was, for those for Black History Month, he founded the first form of organized religion in the city of Newport News, and this was well before 1900.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you. So, and at this point, we will, our motion will be, appropriate motion would be to lay on the table, and it remains with the committee in the event that we needed to revive it next week. So motion and a second to lay the bill on the table. Discussion. Members will indicate their vote. The clerk will close the roll. House Bill 809 is laid on the table on a unanimous vote.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.